Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Kate Mercy. Today we are going to be testing out and trying the new Morphe in collaboration with Sour Patch Kids. So if that is something you're interested in, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel down below. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as we saw in the intro, we're going to be playing with the new Morphe Sour Patch collaboration. I love Sour Patch Kids, so I absolutely did not need another rainbow palette by any stretch of the imagination, but I felt like I needed this. So we're going to start with the palette today. It does come also with sponges, setting spray, and lip gloss, so we'll be playing with all of those things. So this is what the palette looks like. I think it's super cute. I love that it looks exactly like a box of Sour Patch Kids. I will include all of the prices and where you can find everything down below. I do want to put out a disclaimer though that I have been having a hard time accessing the Morphe website in the last couple of days because they have their 50% off sale going on. So I will do my very best to link the products down below. So this is what the inside of the palette looks like. I think it's super pretty. I really loved it. I feel like they nailed it. Like as far as color story goes and Sour Patch Kids, I really do feel like they did a great job with this. I did just try out the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette from them and their shimmers were very lackluster. So I'm hoping that this gives us some more punch. The other thing I do want to note too is that I appreciate that there are two transition shades in here. I feel like sometimes when I'm playing with bright colors, I want a transition shade and other times I don't. It really depends on like where I'm going with the look. So, but I do appreciate that. I tried out another palette yesterday and it didn't have that transition shade and I found that I was missing it when I was blending out my shadows. To start off this look, I am going to go into this transition shade down here called White Pineapple. And to do that, I'm using a Sigma E45 Max. And I'm just going to lay that down and try to kind of set our primer into place. I did go in with the P. Louise base in the shade 0.5. Lately I've been really enjoying my NYX one, but when I'm playing with colorful shadows, I find that I do enjoy that the P. Louise base mutes them all out. Or not mutes them all out, but really covers up any discoloration that is on my eyelids. If I could critique the palette a little bit just based on color story, I'm wanting to do like an orange and yellow look today to try to like imitate, I don't know, I'm trying to be Halloween-y, but there's not, as far as like shimmers go, they're all very either like cool toned or they're very like pinky purpley. So I am a little disappointed, I guess, that there's not like something that I automatically think kind of goes along with the orange. That being said, just like playing devil's advocate with myself, I think we've seen enough monochromatic colorful palettes to last a lifetime at this point, so I can understand why they didn't do that. I'm going to go in with this orange shade here called Orange Craze, and I am using, I think it's a Moda brush, yes, Moda small shader brush, and I'm just going to lay that down on the outer and inner corner. I'm going to go back in to that E45 Max and we're going to go in here to Lemon Squeeze. And I'm just going to see if I can blend out these edges using that color. I do just want to note that after I tried to blend out the edges on this one, it's kind of like coming back up. I'm noticing that this formula is like a little bit of a thinner formula. It's also, however, worth noting that this eye is not my good eye, especially that corner. I do actually have like significant trouble with that eye. Not significant in the way that it's like unworkable, but like frequent trouble with that eye. For a shimmer shade, I am going to go in with this one here called Total Mischief. It looks like it might have like kind of a duochrome type of a shift. I'm just going to use this Billion Dollar Brushes flat brush here. And without a mixing medium, I am going to try and see how that lays down in the center of the lid. It's very light without a mixing medium. I'm going to try to intensify it. I'm just using my Ofra mist. I do think it's pretty, and I do feel like it's a little bit more like shiny and special than the shimmers in the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. Um, I'm a little like annoyed that this eye is giving me such guff, but I'm kind of hoping that as we progress, it will get a little bit better. I don't know if you can see, but there is some fallout from that shimmer shade, so I'm gonna see if I can brush it away. No, you can't. No, you can't. Cool. Just made a mess. So I'm going to try to wipe it off with a makeup wipe. So for my base today, I did pick up the sponges as well. I did not need more makeup sponges, but again, they were just like too cute to pass up. So we get, it looks like 2 big sponges in yellow and blue. So these are like identical sponges. They do have the little Sour Patch Kid on them, which I just think is so cute. I'm hoping these work out well for me. If I recall correctly, I tried the Morphe sponge like when it first came out, the like original red sponge, and I really didn't care for it. These days I typically use my DSMD sponges, and those are my like holy grail favorites. So we'll kind of see how I feel about these. I did also get, or we also get 3 of the mini sponges. So again, I think these are adorable. They do have the little Sour Patch Kids on the sides. I'm not somebody that uses a mini sponge, honestly, very often. So let me know, comment down below if you use mini sponges and like what you use them for. I just never like feel like, you know what this calls for? A mini sponge. Like even blending out concealer, I'd rather do it with like a dense small brush than a sponge, but maybe that's just me. So I think today we'll go in with this blue sponge. It's just like such pretty blue. I'm just going to dampen it with, again, my mixing medium. This is the Makeup Fixer by Ofra. Before I go in and apply my foundation, I am just going to apply my bronzer. This is the Tarte Sea Breezy bronzer. And quite honestly, I always use a brush for this part, so I'm not going to use a sponge because that's not my preferred method. I did already prime my face, by the way, using my Tatcha primer, Luminous Silk. So now that I look like an absolute goon, we're going to go in with foundation and our sponge. I'm using the Airbrush Flawless by Charlotte Tilbury today. And we're going to just do 1 pump. That's typically all it really takes. I'm going to set my face really quick and then we will hop into the rest. Okay, so I have the rest of my base makeup done. So there's only 2 more things to test out from this collection. So the first thing we're going to test out is this. It's the Continuous Setting Mist. And it's supposed to smell like the watermelon slices. Spoiler alert, it does. I love the smell of this. I just think it's spot on. It smells like sour watermelons. I guess my only critique on this one is that I kind of wish they had like this in a mattifying version, but I love the scent. I love the spray. I know this is like a cult favorite product. I did get the one years ago at this point that they did in collaboration with Jeffree Star, and it smelled like strawberries, and I felt like that one smelled rancid. So I'm pleasantly surprised that this one does not. The last product here is this gloss, and this also is in Watermelon Slice. The packaging is like a little tricky to navigate. So it's like this super pearly pink. I'm hoping it goes on translucent. I'm not really getting any stringiness, which is positive. I've talked about this probably about 100 times at this point, but I work in healthcare. So wearing lip gloss honestly is not like something that I'm able to do very often because I do have to wear a mask all the time. But I'm not getting like obvious stringiness. It has like a nice slip to it, and it does provide like a nice shine. So that is it for the Morphe collection. So this is the first row swatched out. I apologize. I'm always really bad with like remembering that I need to come closer to this edge. But at any rate, so we have Red Berry, Orange Craze, Lime Burst, Lemon Squeeze, Blue Raspberry, and All Gone. I will say, again, it's a thinner formula, so when swatching these, I did have to build them up. The one that gave me the most guff was this one here called Blue Raspberry. When I first like did a swatch, it was like barely showing up and it was super streaky. I do want to say though, as I've said many times, but I'll say it again, finger swatches are not indicative of how they're going to apply to the eye, but it is worth noting that I did have a little bit of trouble swatching that Blue Raspberry shade. I am going to go ahead now though and swatch the next row. So here is the next row swatched. You're not going to be able to see too much of these transition colors. So again, the top color here is Unwrapped, and then we have Watermelon Woe, Pink Strawberry, Gimme Grape, Serving Looks, and White Pineapple. As you can see, Serving Looks was kind of like a weird one to swatch. The other one that was kind of weird was Pink Strawberry. I'm noticing that the imprint of the little like Sour Patch Kids are on both Blue Raspberry and Pink Strawberry. Interestingly enough, the Red Berry didn't give me a problem, so I'm not really sure. I noticed personally that like sometimes, and this isn't like exclusive to Morphe, but brands in general that try to do imprints on the shadows, while it's like a cool feature and all, I feel like sometimes it really can impact the way that the shadow is able to be swatched or applied, because I feel like sometimes changes the way that they're pressed. So I just wish that if brands are going to do little imprints, which again I think is super cute, but like if it's going to impact the quality of the product, I would rather not. So this is the last row, all swatched out. I will say again that I do feel like these shimmers in this palette are a little bit more special than the one in the Divine Neutrals palette, even just like swatched out, applied on the eyes. I just feel like they do have like that special shimmer to them. So the first one we have here is called Sugar Crush, Super Sassy, Pucker Up, Party Time, Total Mischief, and then Major Mood. As for my final thoughts, I think it's like one of the cutest collections that's been done recently, especially I feel like brands are really collaborating with everything these days. I think this is a super cute collaboration. Morphe is one of those brands that when I was like getting into makeup, like really getting into makeup and YouTube makeup specifically back in like 2015, 2016, I was obsessed with them because you could get so much for the price point, especially like comparatively to drugstore makeup at that time. You couldn't find it. Since then, I've kind of like steered away from Morphe just because like there's been a lot of drama with them, and additionally it was like no longer were they the like most cost effective and best quality. That kind of does still reign true, where it's not a bad formula by any stretch of the imagination. I personally enjoy the ColourPop formula maybe a little bit more, but I think that if you were looking at this palette and you were thinking like, I really would like it, I'm really a big fan of Sour Patch Kids, I'm really a big fan of the Morphe formula, or I don't have any rainbow palettes, I don't think you would be like sorely disappointed by this one. I think it's a super cute collaboration. I think the color story is on point. As far as like rainbow palettes go, I do think that there are others that have more to offer just because this is a smaller palette, but I'm not disappointed with it by any stretch. As I mentioned earlier, Morphe is running a 50% off sale on their site, I think still. Again, like the Morphe site is like not working for me, which is like a little annoying, but I digress. I am like pleasantly surprised. It does have the 2 transition shades, which I am happy about. It is a lighter formula, so it's pretty easy in my opinion to blend it out. The caveat to that is that it's easy also to kind of blend away. So if you're wanting like a really bold eye look, you are going to have to like pack it on here. I just wanted to see, it does say Artistry palette, which leads me to believe that there might be pressed pigments in here. Let me check the box actually. Okay, so I did check the back of the box here. And it does look there are pressed pigments in here. So Red Berry, Orange Craze, Lime Burst, Lemon Squeeze, Blue Raspberry, Watermelon Woe, Pink Strawberry, and Give Me Grape, which honestly I think is like all of the mattes in here. Yeah. So it looks like all of the colorful mattes in here are pressed pigments, which typically means that it's a vegan formula. I can't say that to be absolutely true, but just something worth noting. The other thing with that though is that they're technically not safe for the eye area because they may cause irritation, and more often than not they do cause staining. So that's just something to be aware of. I am going to do some swatches of this pretty soon here so you guys can see that if that's something that you're interested in. But overall, I'm not disappointed with this palette. I am happy with the way that my look came out. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't an orange shimmer in here. And again, I just think maybe the range of the shimmers could have been a little different. But at the same time, like if they added more shimmers, this would have been a bigger palette. So overall, I'm content with this palette. I don't think it's like you must have it right now, but I'm happy that I have it in my collection. I love Sour Patch Kids. As for the sponges, they are better than I remember, so I was pleasantly surprised in that way. I think the detailing on them with like the little Sour Patch Kid is like super cute. My gripe with this is that it comes with like 2 full-size sponges, which is like warm and wonderful, but I personally am not going to get a ton of use out of like the mini sponges. That's just not like something that I typically use very frequently, if at all, in my makeup routine. So I think if you're like on the prowl for sponges, and again, if you can get them at 50% off, I would say like, yeah, this is probably a pretty good deal. But if you're somebody that already has like a plethora of sponges, these are nothing like revolutionary where you need to run out and get them right now. I think they nailed the scent on the mist. I really think that it smells exactly like a Sour Patch watermelon slice. I mentioned this briefly earlier. I really do wish that they had this in the mattifying version. I like a dewy skin moment, so I think probably in the wintertime I will really appreciate this. I have combination skin, and in the winter it's like atrociously dry. So I think in the winter I will probably get more use out of this, but like summer and fall, when I'm kind of going for that matte look, I probably won't reach for this nearly as often. However, that being said, if you enjoy this mist, if you enjoy this formula, and if you enjoy the scent of watermelon, I really think you'll enjoy this. As for the gloss, again, the scent is like 10 out of 10. It smells exactly like a watermelon slice. I think the color is really pretty. I enjoy that it gives like that juicy look to the lips. And it has like microfine glitters in there, but I'm not feeling like any grittiness. It's not, I would not classify this as like a stringy gloss. I'm noticing that the more it sits on my lips, it does get like a little bit like clumpy, and like, so that creates that stringiness. But as soon as I like rub my lips together, that kind of goes away. I think if you're somebody, again, that loves the scent of watermelon, you're going to love this. It's not like my absolute favorite gloss formula, but it's certainly not like a bad formula by any means. So I'm happy to have this as an option in my collection because I do think it'll go over a lot of different lip liners and lipsticks beautifully. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel down below. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what your favorite rainbow palette is. What is your go-to brand for really colorful eyeshadows? I'm always on the hunt for colorful eyeshadow. As always, please stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.